They hit Iran, not just with sanctions, but with missiles. The world held its breath as the United States, with quiet backing from Israel, crossed a line many thought untouchable: direct strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. The result? A global firestorm of controversy, and now an unexpected twist: a $30 billion peace proposal. But is this really diplomacy, or blackmail dressed in a business suit? Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me again. Today we're unpacking one of the most explosive and high-stakes developments in modern geopolitics: Washington's $30 billion carrot, offered not to rebuild, not to atone, but to control Iran's nuclear program. Let's break it down. June 13th, a date that may well be remembered as the moment diplomacy was shredded in broad daylight. That morning, Iran found itself under direct military assault. Not covert sabotage, not anonymous cyber attacks, actual missile strikes on 3 uranium enrichment facilities. Targets hit, infrastructure damaged, negotiations obliterated. And here's the kicker: just days earlier, Iran had been at the negotiating table, ready to talk, ready to deal. Then came the strikes, backed, whether officially or not, by Washington. And with them, the talks collapsed. Later, Donald Trump even admitted it. The strikes were meant to pressure Tehran. Translation? The U.S. was never negotiating in good faith. Fast forward to now. The Trump administration, in its latest geopolitical gambit, is offering Iran up to $30 billion in financial support. But here's the catch: Iran must completely halt all uranium enrichment. All of it. Now, Iran has always maintained, and international observers agree, it has the right to a peaceful nuclear energy program. It's signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. It's allowed inspections, it's complied. So why demand zero enrichment? Even more curious, the proposed $30 billion? It's not coming from the U.S. Treasury. No, Washington wants its Gulf Arab allies like Saudi Arabia and the UAE to foot the bill. So the message to Iran is this: stop enriching uranium. Accept foreign-funded nuclear infrastructure we control, and maybe, just maybe, we'll ease some of the sanctions slowly suffocating your economy. Diplomacy or extortion? Iran's response? Swift and sharp. In protest of the illegal strikes, Tehran suspended cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. Inspectors were sent home, surveillance cameras turned off. The West suddenly found itself blind inside Iran's nuclear program. But before this, the IAEA had full access. They'd confirmed, repeatedly, that Iran was in full compliance with the NPT. There was no nuclear weapons program, no evidence of a bomb in the making. So what changed? Well, according to Iranian officials, the IAEA's inspections were compromised. Sensitive information had been leaked, possibly to foreign intelligence services. That information, Tehran claims, was used to target their nuclear facilities. Think about it. You invite inspectors in good faith, then your facilities get bombed, using intel only those inspectors could have known. Would you let them back in? Behind closed doors, the mood in Washington is far from confident. And in Tel Aviv? Panic. Because Iran is now operating in the shadows. No inspections, no visibility. The same Iran that just had its sovereign territory attacked is now, possibly, reassessing its entire nuclear doctrine. Here's the danger. Analysts are warning that pushing Iran too far might trigger the very outcome the West claims to fear: Iran choosing to build a nuclear weapon. And let's be honest, who could blame them? Israel, after all, is widely believed to possess up to 200 nuclear warheads. It's not a member of the NPT, it refuses inspections. Yet the international community shrugs. Iran, on the other hand, signed the treaty, followed the rules, and still got bombed. So what exactly is on the table in this so-called peace deal? 1. Full cessation of uranium enrichment. 1. Unfreezing of $6 billion in Iranian assets. 1. Gulf states funding a new civilian nuclear facility, on U.S. terms. 1. Partial sanctions relief. Sounds generous? Look closer. Iran would have to give up its sovereign right to nuclear technology. In return, it gets foreign funding and some relief from the very sanctions that created this crisis to begin with. And here's the absurdity. Saudi Arabia and the UAE, longtime regional rivals of Iran, would be tasked with financing this new nuclear facility. That's like asking your enemy to build your house, and then trusting they won't booby-trap the basement. The Iranian public is not naive. Years of crippling U.S. sanctions have devastated the economy, but the recent strikes have unified a population that was once divided. Even critics of the Iranian regime now rally behind the flag. Because here's the truth: when bombs fall, politics become personal. And trust in diplomacy evaporates. As one Iranian diplomat put it,
How can we trust the US again? They talked peace and launched missiles. That's not negotiation, that's betrayal.
And let's not forget, the original 2015 nuclear deal, the JCPOA, was working. Iran was in compliance. Sanctions were being lifted. The region was stabilizing. Then Trump tore it up. Is this new $30 billion proposal sincere, or just political theater? There's a growing belief in Washington circles that this is less about peace and more about optics. By outsourcing the financial burden to Gulf allies, keeping sanctions largely intact, and dangling just enough money to tempt Tehran, the Trump administration wants to look tough to voters while pretending to extend an olive branch. It's a calculated move. If Iran says no, they're the aggressors. If Iran says yes, Washington claims a victory. But there's one flaw in the plan. Iran is no longer playing by old rules. The next few weeks could define nuclear diplomacy in the Middle East for years. If Iran walks away from this deal, and current signals suggest it will, the US will either have to escalate militarily, risking all-out war, or return to the table with actual respect and realistic expectations. But the clock is ticking. If diplomacy fails again, a future conflict won't just be another proxy war. It could involve multiple nations, real nuclear risks, and a collapse of the already fragile NPT framework. Iran is vilified for seeking nuclear power, but the only country in the region with actual nuclear weapons and no accountability is Israel. The only nation tearing up working deals and launching first strikes is the United States. And now, after years of pressure, deceit, and violence, Washington wants to call it a peace deal? This isn't just hypocrisy, it's dangerous. It sends a message to the world. Don't sign treaties, don't play fair, because when you do, you still get bombed. If you found this breakdown informative, if it made you think, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Can diplomacy still work, or are we watching the slow unraveling of nuclear restraint? Thanks again for being here. Stay informed, stay skeptical, and I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, stay sharp.